all the maximum of 12 parking spots.
All right, good evening, everyone. It's July 30th, 7:30 p.m., 2025. Would you please join me in standing for the silent prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance? Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call, please.
Mayor St. John.
Yes, here.
Mr. Capel.
Here.
Ms. Strayer. Here. Mr. Ghost.
Here.
Mr. Grumney.
Here.
Mrs. Cooper. Here. And Mr. Martin is absent. 6 present. We have quorum.
Great. We had a meeting on July 16th, and we're looking for a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Cooper,
Second.
second by Mr. Grumney. Discussion. Roll call.
Mrs. Cooper. Yes. Mr. Grumney.
Yes.
Mr. Ghost.
Yes.
Mayor St. John.
Yes.
Ms. Strayer. Yes. Mr. Capel.
Yes.
6 yeas, minutes passed.
Any visitors that would like to speak with City Council this evening? We're on to committee reports. Mr. Ayer, Mr. Grumney,
I do not.
Mr. Capel,
Not tonight.
Mrs. Cooper,
Not tonight.
Mr. Ghost.
No, sir.
All right, I had a zoning committee update. We had a zoning meeting on Monday. There were 3 issues that we heard. 2 of them had public hearings. First was a conditional use for 157 South Vernon Street. This was a continuance of a public hearing related to a conditional use to allow an automotive shop. In this particular case, Mr. Conan Cameron that operates an auto body shop. It was approved with several conditions, most of which are obligating Mr. Cameron to solidify the parking lot through the installation of pavers, no excess of more than 12 cars total on the entire exterior of the property, screening of the trash dumpster, several evergreen trees on the west side of the property against the residential properties. Hours of operation cannot exceed 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. And were there any others, Mr. Hennessy? It was a good dialogue with Mr. Cameron, and he's come a long way, and it was a very efficient use of our time that night, dialoguing what he envisioned for the property and what the zoning commission agreed with. The other conditional use approval was related to a residential remodel on Rainbow Avenue. It's a single-story home. They're adding a second floor. Really, this family ran into an issue where there had already been a previous remodel or addition in the house, and some of the foundation was failing, and so like the addition in the house were starting to decouple. Ultimately, they wanted to stay in their home, stay in the community. They came up with a great plan. They also got their neighbors' support related to the conditional use, which was really good. We had 3 or 4 official letters of support talking about adding value to not only the applicant's home, but also to their own homes. So that was very encouraging, and that passed unanimously as well. And the last item on the agenda was a lot split for what we refer to as the Newman property, Newman Roofing property. They're looking to market some of the property on, I think, on the north end or the extension of Kintner Parkway. Any questions? All right, we're on to the police report. Chief Howard.
Thank you, Mayor.
Sir.
Just to let you know that 4 of the 5 cruisers are now done. The 5th one's at Bullet, and we should have that back. I put in the report that we were going to have it by the 22nd, but our stuff that we were waiting on is in, and I think we're on track for the 15th. The cruiser we had to take to Tim Lally for repairs that has a new engine. We picked that up Friday. The big thing I want to cover is last weekend, this weekend as well, we got hit with break-ins in cars in different areas. We've talked about this a few times. All I ask is just make sure we're locking our cars. We're not leaving valuables out, and for God's sakes, put the firearms away. We've had 2 or 3 firearms stolen in the last 2 weeks out of cars that were parked outside, unlocked, keys in them.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And that's all I have, unless you have questions.
Thank you for that update. Those happened about a week apart. right? One was in Sunbury Meadows, is that correct? The first one, or was it
Yeah, on this side.
communities at Sunbury?
And yeah,
And then the second one was in Price Ponds primarily, but went into Rolling Hills. And that, from what I understand, the only cars that they're getting into are the ones that are unlocked.
yeah, if you can watch them on video, I don't know if you guys have seen any of it, they'll roll up 2 or 3 deep into a cul-de-sac, they jump out, scatter, and they just hit doors. If the door pops open, they're in it and going through your stuff. We've had incidents where a garage door was left open about a foot, so people could let their animals in and out, and they crawled under the door, got in the car inside, took stuff out, and there was a lady actually heard something in the garage come out, and he was leaving as she.
Chief, are these happening mostly at dark in the evening
On
or?
the overnight hours, but the first weekend it was like 11 o'clock at night. The next
Early.
weekend was like 6:30.
And it was sunny at that time. I remember I started getting messages and it was already bright out.
And the one car that was stolen from here, OSP did locate it on 71, but there was nobody that would help them stop it. There was nobody with them.
It was going south.
Correct. Got off at Gemini and they lost it over around Gemini and Worthington Road in that area.
That's like the imaginary line of law.
Is there a certain day of the week or anything like that?
Stuff we're working on that I'm not going to share in this meeting, so I don't want that out there yet.
Any suspects?
I can say, yeah, we have some suspects.
Leaving their keys in their car unlocked.
Some of them are.
Yes.
There was a car stolen.
Yes, 2. We've had 2 taken.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one we had, a lady had come out, she was getting ready to leave for work. She'd opened the garage door, car was running, and she was inside about 10 minutes. When she came out, the guy had already ransacked her car and he was leaving as well.
You're lucky,
So they're
really.
very brazen. I had somebody call and ask me, what can I do? I have a firearm. Can I protect myself? I was like, listen, it's not worth it over property. They have firearms too. I mean,
Plus there's,
Assume they do.
there's like safes made for cars, right? Like if you have a weapon and you want to keep it safe and
Yes.
lock your car,
Mhm.
yeah.
Any questions for Chief Howard? Additional? Thanks, sir.
sorry, Darryl, I went over on time.
You did fine. On the administrator report, Mr. Hennessy.
All right, just a couple of quick updates. The zoning report for July is in your packet. The important thing I think to note in this month's report is that the Northport Place Residential Hotel, those zoning certificates were issued. So the total number of housing units is up to just a little over 230 for the year. Again, 150 of those are related to Northport Residential Hotel. So the Joint Recreation District is meeting tomorrow night. They'll be meeting over at Berkshire Township Hall. So if you're interested,
Will
come
they
on
be
by.
streaming that?
They won't be live streaming it, but it will be recorded and then posted
Okay.
immediately following the meeting. Well, I shouldn't say the next morning at least. So, and I'll try to grab it as well and throw it on our site as well if I can grab the image so they're listed under other meetings on the city's website. The Sunbury New Community Authority will be meeting next week for its organizational meeting. We'll talk a little bit more about that in this meeting. And the only other thing I added was there's been a lot of talk about electric rates in the community. I did attach a copy of a document that AEP had recently sent to me about ways that you might be able to save on your energy costs. The other thing to just note is that it looks like the current rate for AEP pricing is just a little over 10.5 cents per kilowatt hour. The aggregated rate for the city of Sunbury is 9.25 cents. So we are below the AEP tariff, but both those numbers went up significantly from the prior year. So that's it, unless anybody's got any questions.
Yeah, I just have one question. I know earlier this week that there was a few glitches with the power. I don't know if you heard anything or not, but
I did hear about that, but I didn't.
Yeah.
yeah, I know
Thanks.
Kroger was out and I was in Kroger when it happened. I can tell you the staff was not happy. But I don't, yeah,
I think I heard Kroger's twice.
yeah.
Yeah, there were several
But they have
short glitches and I don't know, were you affected, Damon?
I don't think we were this time.
We got
Usually are.
two short outages, I mean, very brief. And those were the same days that Kroger was out for many hours.
Okay.
Yeah, same too. And, I just don't,
Yeah.
I know we had some issues with AEP, probably, I don't know, last year maybe with
Oh, yeah.
seeing some random outages. So I don't know.
They've installed the smart breakers. The one in front of Tim Hortons is one of those new poles that has the kind of, I'll call it smart grid technology where, if it notices power is not running one direction, it kind of sends a signal back. So it closes off just that part of the loop. They also installed one on Cheshire Road, right off of Golf Course Road, kind of on the bridge where you cross over the Little Walnut Creek. I mean, that work, that's what connected in my mind. That work just happened. And then it was like the following week, these outages that were not weather related
Right.
occurred.
Yeah, I'll reach out to our liaison and just make a note of it, talk to her a little bit about it, see if there's any insight she can provide.
Well, they
Related
said-
to Kroger, no, just a quick update on Kroger. Chief Kovach had reached out to Daryl, myself, I think Chief Howard, and said they had provided some recommendations on their backup generator. I think they actually had perhaps a fire on their generator. And it sounds like that issue is resolved from what Chief Kovach, the feedback that he had provided.
They did say there would be some rolling blackouts though, with everybody using their air conditioner.
Yeah, in the AEP document, it talks about that it could happen. I don't know that it did happen. I mean, I didn't hear that it had happened, so, and I don't think that there were blackouts throughout the city.
No, I wasn't affected at all.
Yeah, so,
And these were just
Okay.
glitches. I wouldn't say.
yeah, I was gonna say, I think.
They have to
what I've
notify you
heard,
if that's coming.
right, well, not a lot of notice, but some
Right.
notice. Yeah.
Any other questions for Mr. Hennessy? All right, Ms. Zedobrowski, floor is yours.
Good evening, council. Please don't feverishly flip through your packet looking for my report. I did not include one today, and please don't make any correlation between that and this, but on this day, 1 year ago, it was my first day with the city of Sunbury. That is not why I didn't write a report. So next week I will include something. Only one update that I wanted to share. Decker, the contractor for the street improvement plan, is planning on doing the milling on Cheshire Road starting next week. I don't have the exact day, so if you do see work out there, they are planning on getting that started. I should have a schedule by the end of this week, so I know which roads they're going to be doing. I have been pushing them to complete Cheshire Road, Fairland Drive, and the flashing beacons around the elementary school. But with that, I'll take any questions.
Questions? Great, thank you. All right, next item on the agenda, resolutions, third reading, resolution 2025.18, a resolution supporting the Ohio Commission for the United States Semi-Quincentennial and joining with America 250 Ohio to commemorate and celebrate the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States of America. Looking for a motion and pass.
I'll make a
A
motion.
motion by Mr. Cooper, second by Mr. Gose. Discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Ghost?
Yes.
Mr. Grumney?
Yes.
Mayor St. John?
Yes.
Fair.
Yes,
Mr. Capel?
Yes.
6 yeas, motion passes.
With second readings, we have a couple of first readings, resolution number 2025.20, a resolution to appoint members to the Board of Trustees to the Sunbury New Community Authority. It looks like we do need to suspend the rules and pass based on the meeting date for the NCA.
Yeah, that's right. So we are asking for approval this evening. If you're comfortable, the three members you see are all reappointments. They're currently serving on the board. So Ann Frost, Roland, or Trey Giller, and Dana Steffen. So ask that you support that. As I said, the annual meeting of the NCA is scheduled for next Thursday. At that meeting, for the first time, they will be levying a charge for improvements at the ravines at Meadow Ridge. So we're going to now begin to start seeing some NCA revenues start to flow. So that's an important step, I think, for our NCA.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules.
A motion by Mrs. Cooper,
Second.
second by Mr. Capel. Discussion? Roll call?
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Mr. Ayer,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost,
Yes.
Mr. Grumman.
Yes.
Jay's motion passes.
Motion on the resolution 2025.20.
Motion by Mrs. Cooper,
Second.
second by Mr. Capel. Discussion? Roll call?
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Mr. Ayer,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney.
Yes.
6 yeas, motion passes.
Thank you. Resolution 2025.21, first reading, a resolution approving agreements and instruments related to the development and construction of public infrastructure improvements in conjunction with Woodland Lake. That's a reading only. Got ordinances, third reading, ordinance number 2025.24, an ordinance authorizing the expansion of the city's community reinvestment area number 041-7560201 and amending resolution number 2006-04 and ordinance number 2024.12 and declaring an emergency. I'll make a motion on the emergency.
Second.
Second by Mr. Grumney. Discussion? Roll call?
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost,
Yes.
Mr. Ayer,
Yes.
Mr. Capel.
Yes.
Jay's motion passes.
I'll make a motion on ordinance number 2025.24.
Second.
Second by Mr. Grumney. Discussion? Roll call?
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost,
Yes.
Mr. Ayer,
Yes.
Mr. Capel.
Yes.
6 yeas, motion passes.
All right, we have second readings, ordinance number 2025.25, an ordinance declaring the improvement to a certain parcel of real property to be a public purpose and exempt from taxation, establishing a municipal public improvement tax increment equivalent fund and providing for the collection and deposit of service payments into that fund, specifying that the public infrastructure improvements directly benefiting the parcel and declaring an emergency. That is reading only. That is just a really complicated way to say that we are enacting a TIF on a residential hotel. We're gonna use the money for public infrastructure. Okay. Lawyers.
That
Right.
public, but that public infrastructure is for them only, correct?
No, that is not.
No, this will be a public water line that supports other development in the area.
And any additional proceeds will go towards the Sunbury Parkway.
Yep.
A whole slew of other things that are associated with Parkway, not just the road, but right-of-way acquisition, bike trails, walking trails. There's a list of them in the ordinance. Right. Second reading, ordinance number 2025.01.2, second amendment, and ordinance amending the 2025 annual appropriations. As a reading only, second reading on ordinance number 2025.26, an ordinance accepting the public improvements for Rolling Hills subdivision section 1. I'd like to,
Yeah, can I make a correction? That's actually the first reading on that. It's in the wrong spot. Sorry about
okay,
that.
I thought that was under there. Thank you. First reading. Got it. And Ms. Odebrowski is going to get a little bit of an overview related to the process and obligations related to the acceptance of public improvements.
Yep, so this is my first time coming for acceptance of public improvements in the last year. So one of the things that I wanted to do was go through and walk you through the different steps that we need to go through in order to achieve a proper acceptance. This project, Rolling Hills Development Section 1.
Can we, it's packet page 41 is the memo that she's gonna kind of.
Sorry
walk you
about that.
through.
Yeah.
Jim Olin with Romelli and Hughes could not be here today, but he is planning on coming to the second reading if there are going to be questions for the developer. But essentially, Jim, on behalf of Romelli and Hughes, reached out to the city to find out if we could go through and inspect and look to accept the infrastructure in section 1 of Rolling Hills. With that, this report walks through the steps. So on page, it would be 42, the second page under history, I have an outline of the steps from the subdivision regulations. So the developer will notify the city that the improvements are complete. And again, this is just for section 1. On page 41, again, there's a map there. The highlighted green area shows the area in question for this subdivision. They'll come back at a later time for the yellow and purple sections 2 and 3. At that time, the city's inspector or the engineer will perform a final walkthrough. In this case, Verdantis, on behalf of the city, went out with Jim Olin and performed the walkthrough for the public improvements associated with section 1. They note any differences on the approved plans, and essentially they'll have a list. This final walkthrough was not the only walkthrough that was done. They had 2 previous walkthroughs as well. So they had a running list, crossed items off the list, and now with the final checklist, the developer was informed in writing of any outstanding issues. At this time, there are only minor aesthetic issues in the right-of-way in that area, and the developer has agreed to complete those remaining items. So it is staff's recommendation that we continue to move forward with the acceptance. So the developer typically would have up to 6 months to fix anything during this inspection. Since we are at the final inspection point, we are now at the step where the city engineer will notify council within 30 days that it is the recommendation that we accept the public improvement. So this staff report, you can take this as my recommendation that we accept. One of the outstanding items, which I should have before the second reading, is the as-built for section 1. That's something that the developer and the construction inspector, which would have been Verdantis at the time, would have created so that we have a record of the exact as-built of the plans. I'm told that those exist, so I should have those within the next week before the second reading. After I receive those as-builts, the city engineer has to issue a certificate of completion. So that can happen while we go through this approval process and the readings. And then the city will formally accept the improvements by resolution or utility letter. Improvements become the city property. So at that point, city takes ownership. So we will be required to do all maintenance and ownership responsibilities associated with the ownership of those items. So I'm going to be back here multiple times. We have a lot of subdivisions that are being that are under construction in multiple phases. So I want to get you guys comfortable with this process so that hopefully as these staff reports come in, we can check the boxes and keep moving through in a timely fashion.
Yeah, one other thing I might add here is that there also then is the maintenance bond that
Yes.
goes into effect. So
One of the reasons the developer is interested in closing out section 1 and not just leaving it open as part of section 2, other than performing the snow and ice removal and maintenance, is that they have a performance bond on section 1. So they would like to release the performance bond. With that, in our subdivision regulations, we have the ability to have a surety for a maintenance and warranty bond of 3% of that estimate that we can hold just in case there are any items that need to be maintained over the course of a year. So essentially, we will have a 1-year warranty. Certainly, Romanelli and Hughes are going to be in the area for sections 2, section 3s, and then they also have another development nearby as well.
Very much.
Thank you.
Detailed overview. Any questions for Ms. Odebrowski?
What are some of the improvements that the city takes over? For example,
Yep, so the road improvements, so public roadway, right now, any cracks to the curb, any issues with the pavement, that would be on the developer to maintain and fix. Snow and ice removal is part of their requirement unless they have a separate agreement with the city to do that, in which the developer will pay the city for our service. The storm sewer, sanitary sewer, lights, street lights,
That's all,
signage.
that's normal stuff,
Yeah,
right?
basically anything in the city right of way, or if the city has a public easement, that would be what is being checked during this. So it wouldn't be necessarily if there are still some homes that are under construction, the city doesn't go and inspect those. That's still between the home builder and the resident. But anything that the city is going to own and maintain, that's what this is for.
Okay, because I know there's been issues with fence that neighborhoods have put up, and some of it's in the city, the right of way, and now the city has to take care of it, and it's an issue. So
Yep, and that's certainly something that we will keep an eye on for plans in the future. Fences typically should be done on private property unless we already have it established that the city plans on owning and maintaining the fence. But I am aware of at least one location where there's a fence that may weave in and out of the city right of way
An older development,
or an older development.
not one of the ones that's currently under
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
construction.
No HOA, pretty complicated.
right, exactly.
That was great up there.
All right.
Thank you very much. All right, next item on the agenda, new and unfinished business, board appointment BST&G. I'm going to hand it over to Council President John Grumney.
Thank you, Mayor. So as we all know, Mr. Martin is recovering, and he currently sits as the representative of council on the BST&G board. The mayor's been acting as his backup, but through discussion, I'm looking to appoint Tim Ghost as Dave Martin's backup until Dave Martin recovers or no longer wants to hold that position, and then it would be assumed that point Tim goes to the lead spot there. But so until Mr. Martin return, I'm asking, and this isn't a surprise to Tim, by the way. So, but yeah, but Tim, just for reference, Tim has served on that board before, very familiar with their proceedings and how it operates. So it seemed kind of like a natural choice. And so I appreciate Tim taking that on, and obviously we'll do a great job, and then we'll see upon Mr. Martin return where we go from there. So,
Thank you.
yep, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Grumman.
Yes.
Happy to do it.
Thank you. All right, new and unfinished business, Ms. Dreyer.
I don't have anything. I did need a ride home from Columbus from an auto mechanic service center, and it's a big one. And the gentleman that gave me a ride home has lived in Columbus his whole entire life, really never gets north of the city. So that he was giving me a ride home, and coming down 36, 37, he just said, I'd like to live out here. And the more I tell you, Sunbury's a special place, really. I was very proud of our Sunbury.
Very nice.
Great. Thank you very much for that update.
I don't have anything, so.
All right, Mr. Goffin here. Mrs. Cooper?
Not tonight.
Mr. Groves?
Nothing here, sir.
All right, I have a few things. One, Sizzle, 2 weeks away, still need volunteers. Please share it on your social media. John, I know for you, that's next door only.
Very, very true. I can hang so. I'm gonna put decal on my vehicle if you.
Walk around, pass out flyers.
Yeah. That's right.
Oh, that's awesome. So,
Use that. We need Mr. Martin to come back because that was always who Joe would tease.
yes, that's right.
Do our others.
True. So, please, and in all seriousness, I went to the Sign Up Genius the other day, and there's still a lot of holes that need filled. I think the number of volunteer spots has expanded, at least from what I could tell. I think that's a great thing. But there are a lot of gaps, and we really need volunteers to help run the show. So word of mouth, new neighbors, tell them it's like a rite of passage. You have to do it. But it's going to be a great event. Can't wait. All right, then just two brief updates. One, I'm going to be meeting with Troy Balderson next week. So if you have anything on like the macroeconomic or macro political agenda, please pass those on to me. I'll make sure to pass those on to him. Focus areas for me are around economic development, energy in particular, electricity, and then just getting his take on really what's going on with Intel, because I'm getting a lot of questions about it. I know there's things all over social media. It's hard to tell what's fact or fiction. I know there's a lot of construction going on out there. If you ask me today, I mean, the project is definitely still going to go forward. You can only imagine like Intel's CFO, if they're going to say, you know what, halt construction, like that's a big loss that you're writing off, and shareholders will sue the company. So I don't envision that. What I think is happening, to be totally honest, is I think it's a strategy, a media strategy, to get the federal government to back the project a little bit. You know, between the two administrations, there's been a little bit of shifting between like the CHIPS Act and what the requirements were to get the funds from the federal government. That whole program is being reworked right now. That's what I think it is. But I mean, their CEO said, you know, if they don't get customers, they're going to stop the production of this site over here. That's very recent information if you hadn't heard that. So I'm going to ask Troy, who I trust very much, to give me his take. That's also in his district. The other cool thing is that I connected with Grant Colson. He's wrapping up his internship with Troy Balderson. His last day is next Friday. He'll be flying back. He'll be in town for 10 days or so. I don't want to quote him exactly, but he said it's been like the experience of a lifetime. He's really felt like he's got his feet underneath him, and very much appreciated our support in giving him that opportunity. So I'm going to have lunch with him in a couple of weeks, and I'll let you know how he's doing.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, team. That's all I have. Anything else?
One question on that House bill with regard to property taxes, Mayor. Can you speak to that briefly, what it is, where it sits now, what happened?
Try my very best. The original House bill that I put out a public statement with the school district and the Village of Galena, that bill in particular did not make it through intact. Some of the concepts within that bill did, but House Bill, I think it was 335, did not. A couple of the items that did make it through were related to verbiage for levies, like using the word emergency or continuing. The thought process, at least from the legislator's standpoint, was you're scaring voters into thinking that there's like not enough cash on hand, so voters need to pass this. That ended up getting vetoed by the governor, what did come through, and then the House, as of right now, has overridden that particular provision related to emergency levies. And what it does is it adds a little bit of transparency. When these types of levies go on the ballot, you have to list, I think public entities now need to list like in general, like what their cash balances are on hand, so the public understands, okay, I know what they have on hand and I know what they're asking for and I know what it's specifically going towards. Inherently, it's not really a bad thing, but the Senate still needs to override the governor's veto as well. I know this is very complicated. This really isn't my lane. But in general, the items that we opposed, the rip off the Band-Aid, inside millage for counties, boards of education and municipalities, what was going to take place in January did not take place. What the likelihood of things that are going to occur are in the next probably year. You're probably going to hear about efforts to abolish real estate taxes in general. And I'm not going to get into all that, but I mean, it would be the most radical shift in Ohio, like since Ohio was formed. And there's, I mean, we would immediately, like almost every public entity would go into default on any debt they had being paid through real estate taxes, which is the majority of the funding sources that fund bonds and public improvements and things like that.
So the earliest that could possibly happen is over a year from now.
From what I understand, they don't have the signatures to get it on the ballot this year. They're shooting towards a November of 2026 ballot initiative that happens to correspond with the midterms, like national midterms, all of the House and Senate races, governor race. So just don't watch TV next year at all.
Okay. Thank you for the update.
Anything you want to add, Daryl? I'm doing my best fielding like the ultra complex political issues at the state.
Yeah, the thing I was thinking is, and we've got a recommendations we're out there thinking about what it might be doing, so.
Right.
I'm going to be critical.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, just to back up 1 second, and I know this is a third meeting this month, and I'll try to be as brief as possible. There's only like a couple of places that taxes come from. And like, it's either income tax, sales tax, or tax tied to real estate. Sales tax, you can like include use tax as well, which is kind of like the inverse of sales tax. You know, the thought process of like, why not increase sales taxes and why our legislators aren't very supportive of that is because we're in an economy that's right in the Midwest and we're surrounded by states that compete with us, right? Like Indiana, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, West Virginia, etc. Income tax, like the legislature did just go to a flat tax. So they've actually reduced the income tax and they're starting to bring that floor almost down to like nothing. They're trying to compete with states like Texas, Florida, Tennessee are the ones that come to mind. And so there's really only like what's left is real estate taxes. So if you don't want to increase sales tax, and which is like a consumption-based tax, the more you spend, the more that you tax. I mean, that has a somewhat of a correlation to what you make in most cases, unless you're like a trust fund person that just has discretionary income, like what you spend. If you don't want to increase that, the only pot left is real estate taxes and taxes based on the property that you own. And if there's a true effort to abolish that, I don't know what's gonna happen.
They have to make it up somewhere. They have to.
Has to, right?
So have user fees and things like that.
Yeah, you're
Same
right.
taxes and
Yeah,
things.
you're right. I mean, like we have fees, but there's a pretty clear delineation between fees and taxes. And yeah, I don't know the answer. I mean, if anybody wants to have dialogue around this, I'd be happy to have coffee with you, or we can talk about it in here, but it's a mystery to me right now. Let me say one thing that I'll give Mayor Cannell one piece of credit. He said this to Beth Lear, and I thought this was a very good metaphor. He was talking about the health condition of a relative, and they were going through something very serious. And they were going to all these different doctors, right? And this particular relative was getting prescribed all these different medications from all these different doctors. And nobody, not even the primary care physician, was saying, you know what, like this concoction and the rate at which you're doing things, like nobody's looking at this holistically. And it ended up having like a very, very bad effect on the health of this relative. And Mayor Cannell's point to Representative Lear when we met with her around the time that we opposed House Bill 335 was, it seems like the legislature has all of these targeted bills, either targeted at reducing power of municipalities, reducing home rule, restructuring school districts, limiting school funding, all these different things. There's like 10, 15 different bills that are being sponsored from across the state. And is anybody taking a look at what the pieces and parts holistically do? I mean, in the private sector, you have to do that, right? Like you have to understand regression testing. You have to understand where we are trying to go and what will get us there. Right now, it seems like this grenade type approach that just we want to blow it up, and wherever the pieces fall, they may. And that's probably the thing that frightens me the most is nobody's thinking this all the way through. And I hope we can get some traction on that at the House and at the state.
You can't take our municipality power away.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard legislators seriously say we need to go to more of like a county-based government. And have had, I mean, dead serious, where we combine all fire districts, combine all school districts in a county. I mean, you know what, in a county? Yeah, I'm serious. Yeah, where you would have the Delaware County School District. And then what happens to
So they,
different parts of the county where you're like, okay, we want these types of facilities in this area and we're willing to pay for it. And this area doesn't. I mean, if you go to a county-based system, you've got what, 5 people representing hundreds of thousands of people. That can get scary pretty
sounds
quick.
like one world government.
Hey,
You can't have that.
feels like that.
You know,
Sometimes too, it feels like we have a solution. Now we just need to find the problem. You know?
Hey, what are we trying to do?
Yeah, right. And then just everybody's coming from different, oh, we got a solution. And then no one really knows what problem they're addressing.
Guys, seriously, this whole thing is, go back 5 years. This was so foreseeable for anybody. The world shut down, the supply chain shut down, the government printed cash. That is, anybody who studies anything, economics or like your own household economics, understands that that is an immediate recipe for inflation and a decrease or a devaluation in the dollar. And what happens, especially related to property and the housing market skyrocketed, doubled in like a year and a half. And if real estate taxes are tied to proportionally to the increases that real estate values are, we knew this was going to happen. And if you saw it happening and didn't do anything, these legislators that want to try to blow up the system now should have been talking about this 2 or 3 years ago. One of the easiest ways to do this is just to either set it up in an emergency system that says we go back to 2022 tax rates for the entire state and say we didn't plan for this type of inflationary growth. Do not increase taxes beyond this point, and everybody gets what they were getting in 2022, and we'll figure out the long-term solution.
Mhm.
Or you put a cap on what it can increase. You can't increase more than 5% a year or something like that, real estate taxes.
Mhm.
Which might be a normal increase over, it might make,
Exactly.
instead of this huge spike, we'll just go to what has been historically.
Yeah, in a 3-year period, they went up by, on average for Delaware County, I think it was 42%. That's huge. It's insane, right? Like if your property tax bill goes from 5,000 to 8,000, that's
Huge.
crazy. And that happened.
How
I mean,
could you let that happen?
rewind the tape. And that's supply chain shutdown. I would say that's the primary cause. You shut down the world moving
Yeah,
and people still are buying things and still want to do things and you want to build houses. And there's nowhere to come from. The people who are selling it can charge whatever they want. So, yeah, that's what happened.
When does the Senate vote on that potential?
I think it's either late August or early September. I
Okay,
think they have 90 days past the day that,
that's a ways.
so-
Okay.
I don't know that the date's been set, maybe it has, but I thought it was like September or something. They were gonna shoot to
Yeah.
do it.
Unfortunately, I'm not followed schedule. It is 90 days, though. So that's illogical.
It's gotta be before the end of September.
Yeah.
All right, team. Sorry to end on that note. Sorry to bring it up.
think of concern are the planned assaults on police officers around our state even.
That was Lorraine.
Yes, and I think it's happening. Well, I've heard of 3 on our nation, and that these are planned events. And I understand Dublin just started to have a robot officer in their downtown area.
I have seen that.
Yeah.
Looks cute.
Not like RoboCop.
No, it kind of looks like R2D2 or the smaller version.
Gotta adjust them. We gotta adjust.
Yeah, I know we're not there yet, but
Oh,
it's you never know.
yeah.
Mhm.
All right, team, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second by multiple people. Because, Mr. or Tim, roll call.
Here's John,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost.
Yes.
Harmony.
Yeah.
Yes. Rare.
Yes.
Mr. Capel.